Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. Last time I did the retro review of WWE ECW, I could only get one episode reviewed. And I thought, oh man, I'm letting the people down because normally I do too. And then something crazy happened. I got more views than normal. And so this time, it's going to be one episode also. WWE ECW from August the 29th of 2006. This is episode 12 and it ran 41 minutes, 50 seconds. We begin with a recap of last week's main event, followed by Paul Heyman calling himself the father of Extreme Championship Wrestling. This is my baby, and I have never wrestled in an ECW ring. I never had to until tonight. Paul is having an Extreme Rules match live on this episode of ECW. Dr. Frankenstein must destroy his own monster. My disciple, Sabu. What a wonderful promo. It's super compelling and a very well done open. We see a crown shot which looks really good. First up is Rob Van Dam. Justin Roberts' introduction is just so nice. RVD is taking on Hardcore Holly. With my knowledge of their memorable time in ECW, it instantly brings to mind the time that Holly gets his back cut from a table spot. I don't think that this is that match, but regardless of whether this is the match I'm remembering or not, I do believe in these two guys. Rob and Bob are fighting on the outside to begin with, and it's just, it's very classic hardcore wrestling action. Back in the ring, RVD is in control, and Holly is being anything but hardcore with very traditional headlocks and drop kicks, and the most surefire way to be a heel in ECW is to not be doing hardcore moves or actions. And the contrast really accentuates Rob's innovative offense, because with Bob trying to be a traditionalist, and it makes Rob stand out. I've always been a fan of Van Dam's moveset. Oh my goodness, why is it that every ECW wrestler has to either be dumb, if that's the way you want to look at it, or so overzealous, as they might say on commentary, and get disqualified? It's very frustrating and such a lame way to end a rather enjoyable match. So after Rob Van Dam gets disqualified, Holly then uses a chair, and it's like, I don't know. I just gotta let it go because Vince will Vince, basically. After the break, we see Rene Dupree on an exercise bike, and he cuts a dumb promo. It's pointless. I just don't understand how Rene Dupree fits in this world. Out comes the Big Show, and he's talking about the 2006 version of DX. I do not have a good feeling about this. We get a Raw recap, which I always think is stupid. It's like, are the brands split or are they not split? Big Show promoting himself, Vince McMahon and Shane versus D-Generation X inside of a Hell in a Cell. is not what I would consider the best way to do a focused episode of ECW. Ah, crap, it gets worse. Big Show challenges DX to a handicap match next week on ECW. That's not a good thing, I don't think. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong. I'll try and stop being pessimistic. Once again, the show promotes Sabu versus Paul Lee in the main event, but up next is CM Punk in action. So, of course, we have to get the obligatory Shannon Moore pointless promo package. The show has really gone downhill fast after that disqualification. Punk is taking on Stevie Richards, so good chance this match goes, good, as long as they don't do Stevie like they did Rob and get him disqualified. Both of the guys are going hard at it, chops and strikes and just really quick, nice action. Stevie attempts to crossbody Punk, but then he moves, and this is to the outside, and then Punk does a dive of his own. I'm surprised that wasn't a commercial break, because it's become such a stereotype, or an expected spot. Dive to the outside, commercial break. When the guys get back in the ring, Stevie is in control. I really feel like this is the best Steven Richards has been since ECW's revival. This is far from the peak of CM Punk. This version, while cool, will not even stand a chance to being as cool as Punk will become. With a Uranagi, Punk then locks in the Anaconda Vice, and he wins. And, hey, look at that. An ECW original wrestler didn't have to lose by disqualification. Miraculous. How many Sabu packages do we need, and how can they justify this? You expect me to both believe that Paul is against Sabu but promotes him every show? It's just ridiculous. After another break, Matt Striker's school bell rings, and I really enjoy Striker the character. His presentation is good to get heat in this context. Striker is for sure going to get the Sandman caning treatment, isn't he? Like, it's obvious, but at least it's better than the zombie from the first episode or the Nacho Libre character. Yep, into the Sandman, and it was obvious, but it was overall okay, because it feels, right to give the fans what they want. And then, oh wow, okay, they hit me with a surprise. Matt Striker was smart enough to not fall for the caning, and he uses his chalkboard to get the upper hand on Sandman. So that was quite the turn of events. We get a dumb Balls Mahoney promo in the back, but it gets interrupted by Kelly Kelly, which was a nice addition to the segment, because she tells him how she's an exhibitionist and then flashes him. And then Joey Styles and Taz talk about how that Balls Mahoney's so fortunate and lucky, before we get back to the announce table, or out front, and Joey announces that Kurt Angle was released last week, and Taz gets very serious about his connections with Kurt. And then after that, we get another Sabu promo. Why are we doing this so much? Paul versus Sabu gets 12 minutes of the show. Heyman's security is double teaming Sabu when he makes his entrance. Sabu gets a chair, and this is it's more fun than I expected. Here comes Big Show, so that is even more against Sabu. Now, I think that Heyman's security is Doug and Danny Basham, or Damaja and Doug Basham, but I'm not sure because they're all covered head to toe. Paul gets his first strike in with 5 minutes left in the show. Sabu is bloody but still fighting, and the crowd is super into the idea of Sabu getting his fire and coming back. And Paul wins the match, which doesn't matter because it's not that big of a deal. But then RVD comes out to help Sabu. This thing is very overbooked, but in like a very well executed way, because every piece actually improved the recipe, if you will. And so ending the show with the hardcore match, although it put over a non-wrestler, was the right call. And overall, it was a fine episode. It was 3 out of 5. The good or the enjoyable parts outweighed the bad, and so that's all you can really ask for is the good being better than the bad. So come back next week for a current critique, trivia 2 days, 2 episodes of Alpha Entertainment Worldwide Reload, and then some fun Friday content. Enjoy.